My name is Mitch Kucera. This is Module 5, Understanding My Community, Wichita North High School. The tradition at North High School is very important. We have a strong base of traditions that are very important to all the alumni as far as the way we do things and what we do. There are certain events that need to go on. There are certain things that are sacred. We have a very large alumni group. We're the second oldest school in Wichita. We have alumni such as Phil Ruffin, Barry Sanders, Lynette Woodard. That's only to name a few. There are several other in the community that have high impact. One way to look at how great North High is a lot of students come back to be teachers. I am one of 4 from my graduating class that are now teachers at North High School. And that's something very rare to see. The current student body is very different than when I went to North High School. Right now it's over 70% Hispanic. In the past years, that has increased. It's increased since I went there because of families moving into the neighborhood. Another thing that's different is graduation rate has decreased. When I went to North 15 years ago, the graduation rate was around 90%. Now it is around 75%, 74%. Another thing is low parent involvement. I had about 16 out of my 210 students show up to parent-teacher conference with their parents. I also see it in sports. I don't get very much parent involvement when it comes to athletics. Part of that may be because parents a lot of times have to work several jobs. 78% of our students are classified as economically disadvantaged. We're also one of the biggest schools in the state, but only about 20% of our students participate in extracurricular activities like sports or clubs or band or choir or drama. A lot of that has to do with many of the students need to work after school or watch kids to help support their family. Within the population of the area, we have many that are high school grads, college grads, doctorates, but we also have many non-graduate parents. There are many times that I will talk to a young man or woman and they'll say, well, my parents didn't graduate, I don't think I need to. And at graduation, there's always a large number of students that are first graduation or first generation graduates. That being said, we have a large amount of our community that's bilingual. They either speak Spanish and English or Vietnamese and English, and many are bilingual. The age in the community is a wide range. It's an aging neighborhood, so we have people who have been here a while, but then we also have young families who have moved in. The occupations in the neighborhood range from doctors and construction workers to unemployed or working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, single parents. Wide range of races. So it's a majority Hispanic, but there's also a good amount of other races that make up the community. There's really not much racial conflict within the community that I see. When it comes to communication, we have a few tools that we use. So an all-parent call, so the district and the school have an all-parent call where they'll make a recording about an event or news, and they'll call everyone associated with that school or the district. Another way is social networking. That's big. To use Twitter, which is a great way to get a hold of people. Foreign language has an impact because of the bilingual community. The bilingual communication is important, so we have translators and the ability to use those to get our message across. People do get their news still from the local news. They'll turn on the morning news or turn on their news at 6, and then they'll be able to get their news from there. Another way is social media. So Twitter, Facebook, all have the ability to spread the word. Influence agents, so community officials such as administrators, board members, district higher-ups, such as the district superintendents and people in charge of the various departments. So the people who are influenced are teachers, coaches, students, even the community. One thing that this community have are passionate citizens that can organize to cause an influence. For example, there was a campaign to prevent a cell tower in Riverside. They created a buzz and spread the word, and that cell tower was prevented from being installed via vote. Community leaders, so elected officials, they're really not very well known. They're not very easily accessible. Our representative does do coffee with the community every once in a while, but other than that, we don't see it. The community groups have more influences. Our citizens generally keep to themselves until they're passionate about something, and then they get in with the community groups, and they can make an impact. So the local leadership does need to be cognizant of those community groups and what they're passionate about. Wichita is a conservative city, but it is much more liberal than the surrounding areas. Urban district north is in one of the least affluent areas of town. Along with our neighborhoods, our neighboring schools, they have the same problems as well, but come from a wide range of economic status, from very affluent and well off to extremely poor. Along with the wide range of economic status, it's a wide range of the conditions and stability. So you look at our city, and the central part, the middle part of town, have the smaller, cheaper houses, smaller lots, while the further you go away from the center of the city, the larger the houses, the more expensive the lots are, and that's where the more affluent people live. Our district building is centralized, but downtown is growing. They're putting more money into downtown to try to make it cool to live downtown in the apartment buildings and try to energize downtown that way. It's hard to separate politics from education. It's a big issue, but not much has been done to make that better. The more money is spent in state and local levels on education, and any other function of government is accurate. They have to aid the district in order to keep schools running. We've had to make schedule changes and budget cuts, and class sizes have been bigger because of the cuts. The school building, we continuously improve these buildings within our districts, but with the continuous improvement, property taxes has gone up. I live near one of the schools, and I live in the city, and I've seen that my tax assessment values have gone up. So, state of Kansas has had issues with funding every year, and we have to deal with that as well. Interracial confrontation is not a big deal in our neighborhoods. Local neighborhood has little racial tension. With gangs, certain gangs go to different schools, they stay on their own turf. There's certain sects of gangs that will go to north, and certain sects go to east, and certain sects go to west. Certain sects go to heights. They usually stay on their own turf, and which causes little disruption within the school day. As far as discrimination go, I don't see it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. I know it's there. Being a white male, I know it is there, but I don't see it as much. Causes, economic hardship lead to bad situations, which leads to unfortunate misunderstandings. Extra sources of information that we can use. Student surveys through SurveyMonkey. We give student surveys quite a bit. Parent feedback during conferences and at events. We look at state assessment data. We also look at SABRES data. So SABRES will test their reading, writing, science, but it also will test emotional well-being and the student achievement and student activity in a classroom. As far as the power structures, organizations in the community have a large influence on the people. Teachers and coaches have influence on students, but then you look at the school, and the district superintendent has influence on the principal, that influences the AP, that influences teachers and coaches, and then they influence the students. One thing about the culture of our school, and we need to emphasize family, because the kids we have, family structure is extremely important. If you asked a child to choose school over helping family, or extracurricular over helping family, family's always going to win that argument. So we need to weave the culture into our school. So there are many activities that are trying to get family involved when our open houses to celebrate the cultures. We allow groups to celebrate the culture of their members. And as a teacher, we try to celebrate culture in assignments. So try to make that a bigger part and be more culturally responsible and culturally responsive. Power structure in the district based on the positive relationships and has caused vertical growth within that, and you can move from AD to assistant principal to district superintendent. When it comes to the power structure within the communities, a few passionate people can rally followers to their cause. The power structure within our school is, you have the principal up top, then the assistant principals, department heads, and coaches and teachers. One thing about our school is it seems to me that different departments have more power because of the size of the department and what they teach. So measuring of public opinion. So what we see right now is we have a site council that meets. We have board meetings at North, so we can see it. We can look at the public attendance at events and see what their public opinion is. Also see, are people in our community sending our kids to North, or are they finding a way to send them to a different high school? Are they finding different programs to send them to a different City League school? Or you look at people who are moving out to surrounding areas such as Derby, Andover, Goddard, and away from the Wichita Public Schools. As far as the public opinion surveys, we have no current official public surveys. It would be helpful to gauge the opinion of the people in the community to have the public surveys. Canvass the area. Talk with local businesses and citizens. SurveyMonkey would be a tool that could be utilized to do that. If we want to change the opinion of our school, we need to know exactly what it is. Because within the alumni group, there is a very high opinion of North High. We love North High. But for people who have never been there or experienced North High School, the opinion is different. It's a rough school. It's a bad school. People can't succeed if they go there. So we need to engage our local people.